If a bell rings where no one can hear it, who is it calling? For over 140 years, the St. Eldermoor Church has stood abandoned on the edge of Eldermoor, a forgotten mining town buried in fog and silence. Locals call it cursed, pointing to the blackened bell tower that looms over the trees like a skeletal finger. The bell itself has not been touched since 1884, the day of the collapse. But last week, at exactly midnight, it rang. 25-year-old Natalie Crane, a history grad student and urban explorer, came to Eldermoor searching for answers. Her great-grandmother had vanished in 1913, and the only clue left behind was a sketchbook filled with drawings of St. Eldermoor and a final note: the bell calls only the blood. Natalie didn't believe in curses. She believed in history, in evidence. But what she found was something far more chilling. The church was swallowed by moss and rot. Vines crawled over shattered stained glass windows. The wooden door moaned like a dying breath as she entered. Inside, the air was thick and still, as though even time had stopped breathing. Every pew was covered in dust except one, where a child's rag doll sat upright, its head tilted, one eye missing. The altar was untouched, preserved like a memory. Carved into the wood, "Confess, and she won't ring." Natalie felt the floorboards shift beneath her. She looked up. The bell rope swayed gently, but there was no wind. That night, she camped near the church, documenting everything for her channel. Around 12:01 a.m., her audio recorder picked up something. A whisper, barely audible. "Natalie, come ring the bell." She reviewed the recording 3 times. It was her great-grandmother's voice. The same voice from an old vinyl she kept as a keepsake. Shaken but determined, she climbed the bell tower the next day. The spiral staircase was rusted and broken. Halfway up, she saw the words etched in blood red. The dead have ears. When she reached the top, the bell sat suspended by rotting beams. Below it, a small trapdoor. Natalie opened it. A skeleton lay curled in the chamber beneath the bell, clutched in its bony hands her great-grandmother's locket. Inside was a picture of a young girl, and on the back, the words, "Stop the ringing. Seal the gate." Suddenly, the bell began to vibrate, not ring hum. The sound pierced her skull like nails on glass. Natalie stumbled, bleeding from her nose. She ran, but outside, the fog had thickened. Shadows moved in unnatural jerks. Eyes blinked where there were no faces. She escaped to her car, but it wouldn't start. Her phone? Dead. She spent the night in the church. At 3:33 a.m., the bell rang again. This time, the church doors slammed shut. The doll on the pew was now facing backward, and a voice echoed through the building, "Bring her back, or take her place." Natalie realized the church wasn't haunted, it was a gate. The bell wasn't summoning ghosts. It was summoning replacements. The next morning, she tried to flee, but every road looped back to the bell tower. The entire town was a trap. She returned to the skeleton and buried it beneath the altar, whispering a prayer. The humming stopped. The fog began to lift. But just as she stepped outside, the bell rang one last time. Back in the city, weeks later, Natalie uploaded her footage. It went viral. Millions watched as the bell rang. But in the comments, people reported hearing their own names whispered in the background. 3 of her viewers went missing. And Natalie? She hasn't posted since. Her last video ended with her staring into the camera, wide-eyed, whispering, "If you hear the bell, don't answer. Would you climb the tower and pull the rope?" Some sounds aren't heard by ears. They're heard by the soul. Comment, "I won't ring it," if you'd resist the call. And share this if you've ever heard your name in the dark. More forgotten places are waking up. See you in the next story, if you make it